Okay, welcome to Money Monday. I am Representative Wendy Horman, and this is Senator Kevin Cook. We represent District 32.
32.
Yeah, now it used to be 30 in Idaho Falls. We both serve as members of the Joint Finance and Appropriation Committee. So we're here to talk about what's going on with money matters in Idaho.
And it is a busy committee. So last week we talked about, we had the whole week was agencies coming in and talking to us. And so a few of them that we had was the Legislative Services Office, the Office of Performance Evaluation, Division of Financial Management, Office of the Governor, Idaho Public Television, and the granddaddy of them all, the Department of Health and Welfare.
That has one of the reasons I didn't support Medicaid expansion is because I knew eventually that spending would outpace education, and in fact that is exactly what's happened.
So just to give you an idea, the total budget for the Department of Health and Welfare, and this is not just the general fund, but this is the general fund, dedicated funds, federal funds. Total amount for the Department of Health and Welfare is $5.5 billion. That's with a B. And compare that to education, which is $3.5 billion. So yes, it is overtaking education in a big way.
And one of the things that was built into the Medicaid expansion law when it passed was an automatic review of how it was going. Well, it turns out the end of this month is the deadline for that review to happen. So that happened this morning. At 9 o'clock, we had the Health and Welfare Committees of the House and the Senate met jointly this morning to hear presentations and concerns. I checked with the budget analyst this afternoon. She said she was really impressed with the quality of questions. It turns out that Idaho has one of the most generous Medicaid plans in the country, and that there are some things that we could do to begin to get a handle on costs. You might remember back when that passed, the state tried to impose work requirements, so that you were searching for a job or other things. I kind of lost what the other ones are.
They were very lenient, but we didn't even get that far, I think.
The feds shut us down on that. So right now, I can't remember if we talked about this last week, but of the 450,000 Idahoans on Medicaid, which is about 24% of our population, approximately 150,000 are likely not eligible, but we have not been able to remove them from the program due to President Biden's declared COVID federal emergency status.
Which supposedly ends in April unless he extends it again. But April will be the soonest that we could start taking those off.
So apparently there were some discussions down there today that will lead to a letter being written to the full legislature on ideas for cost containment of Medicaid. Otherwise, it's on a trajectory right now that is just unsustainable. Not only will it outpace education, it will take up the money needed for all of maintaining state government, courts, parks, a lot of different
black
areas.
hole. It's basically what it is. It's not good. There's some good there that it does, but we need to be able to put some sidebars on it and control it, and help the people that are using it to get out of poverty so they don't need it.
A handout.
Yeah, instead of a handout. That's where we really need to be with this thing. Let's see. I'll tell you a little bit about the child welfare budget. We talked about that in a little bit. That one's $106.5 million, which is a big one. Congregate care on that was 295 children that were involved with that, and it's a $2 million ask for it, which comes up to about $7,000 per child. Now, I'm not saying those children don't need it, because they do. But are we being smart with the money? And that's what we're trying to figure out in JFAC with the questions that we have with the agency that comes in and talks to us. And and asking the hard questions. It's kind of like peeling an onion. You get one layer off and you get to the next layer, and that's kind of what we're doing in there. And we started meeting at noon on Wednesdays, just those that are doing the budget with the budget analysis to try and peel back some more onions and figure out what we're doing there. So.
It's a lot of money to dig into. And coming up this week is what we call Education Week, because this is when we hear from state agencies who oversee education in the state, like the State Board of Education, which we heard from this morning, and the State Department of Education, which we'll hear from Wednesday, as well as all the colleges and universities. So each community college, each university will be presenting. You're probably aware that there's been some concern in that space with costs and tuition and fee increases. We've held tuition flat, but the institutions have still increased fees, in some cases by very large amounts. And that, of course, is concerning if we're trying to make a college education affordable for Idaho students.
Oops. Just 1 second, we have a technical error here.
I've hit my 30-minute time limit on Facebook. I have
Have we been at this 30 minutes?
no, but I've been clearly I've been on it for about 25 minutes already.
All right. Okay. Let's see what else we got. This one was interesting to me. This is the Division of Welfare. It's a division welfare. It's a child care stabilization. I had a wonderful conversation yesterday with one of the child care owners in Idaho Falls about this particular one. This is money that is to go and subsidize parents who need child care. And so the parents, I can't afford to get my child in child care, therefore I have to stay home. So this budget or this money is supposed to give, oops, you're out of it again. Oh, you're back. It's supposed to give money to parents so that they can afford to get their kid in child care so they can go to work. And it's also supposed to give money to child care providers to increase the wages of their employees, and there's supposed to be money available for, if you're a child care provider, to expand your business or to build a brand new business to do child care. So all that money's there. And I just had a discussion with the individual there in Idaho Falls. How could we use this money wisely? Instead of, again, handing it out, how can we use it to help people? Because this money will come to an end.
It's one-time money, so it's not going to be used to sustain childcare, but it's to try and expand available childcare seats for those who need it. So it is one-time in nature.
And so it's just trying to think outside of the box. You know, as I challenged our director Jepson, I says we need to quit handing out fish and teach them how to fish, referring to the Chinese saying there. We need to start teaching people how to fish, and that's what I'm hoping we can do as we look at these budgets and see what we can do there. What else we got? You want to talk about that one? Do you remember that one?
No. I think one of the big things that has been a concern in the education space, but it also crosses over into health and welfare, are kind of the cultural changes that we're seeing and the values represented. And so you may have seen online some materials that have been made available through the Division of Health and Welfare on sex education curriculum that are a clear violation of state's obscenity laws. And so the director is going to get back to us to make sure that when they approve materials that are available through use through the public health districts or that they recommend to schools are not violating the state's obscenity laws. You hear a lot of in the media about book banning, But my term for that is protecting our children from pornography and things that are clearly inappropriate for young children and even teenagers in some instances to have access to in our school libraries. So I think you'll see bills. I know I'm working on a bill to establish parent councils at each school that would come with a curriculum transparency tool to make available so that any parent can get on and access the parent council, but also any parent in the school could get in and access what do the curriculum materials look like, what books are in the school library, those sorts of things, to just add an element of transparency and therefore try and reestablish some trust. I think that has been called into question lately about what materials are available to our children. I know that's very important to both of us. You've been working on bills related to that as well, and access on phones, and so this is not about book banning for us. This is about age-appropriate materials.
Protecting your children, giving you as parents a fighting chance. There's enough crap, if I may say that, out in the world today that we need to be able to help out some way. Again, this is not book banning or book burning. It's the appropriateness, and I really believe this is a good thing. And we'll see how it pans out, how the tone of it, but it's coming. So we'll work with it.
Yeah.
The FFA was here today. They had did you get to go to their luncheon?
No, I had a staff meeting over the lunch hour.
So did I. I missed it too, and I felt really bad because two of the pages that work with me in my Commerce and Human Resource Committee asked me to go, and I had already had a commitment, and it was one that I did not feel like I could break, and so I missed the FFA, but that is a neat program.
It was great. Hundreds of kids around the Capitol today in their blue jackets. It's future farmers of America, but they really learn leadership skills. And some of them become excellent parliamentarians. Maybe that's who we should call on the issue of the JFAC votes.
Yeah. No, and you know what? Growing up in my high school days, FFA, it was farming. That was all it was. And that is not the case anymore today. They still have an awful lot to do with farming, but farming nowadays is not like it was when I was a boy. It is totally different. It is a business. And these farmers have got to be very smart. They need to know how to help in the legislation and water rights and everything else. And so these are not...
Run the computer that operates the tractor.
Yeah. So it's a whole different environment. And so these FFA kids that were here, there are all kinds of different, some of them came with leadership skills and know how to stand up and give a speech just off the bat, cuff. Just extraordinary young men and young women and what they're doing. So it's a great program. It was neat to see them.
If any of you are watching this and will happen to be visiting the Capitol during the legislative session, please reach out to us. We can arrange tours for your classrooms or your family as you're visiting, and we'll be happy to get together with you if possible. If we're not in a meeting or on the floor taking votes, we'd love to see you if you happen to be in the Boise area.
Or even if you're late at night, you know, if we're free, we'll come over and show you.
You met with the Idaho Falls High School debate team.
I did.
Right? Yeah.
The Idaho Falls debate team and the Rigby High School debate team, and they were supposed to get here at 8:30, which is pretty late for me anyway. They got here at 8:50, and they didn't leave until 10:40, I think it was.
Long tour.
Oh, I was tired. But we took them into the Senate, and they got to sit on the chairs. And the Lieutenant Governor, don't quote me on that, but we took some pictures. It was a lot of fun. They had a great time. So if you're in Boise, this is an incredible building. Would love to be a part of that tour and help you out. So.
All right. I don't see, I guess I'll come and check if there's any questions popping up here. I can't see any.
All right.
So
this is Money Monday. We'd love to have your questions, comments, and we want to keep filling you in transparency of what's going on with the budget. So thank you for joining us.
we'll sign up until next Monday.
Okay, see ya.